All right, so let's take a little look at the Schedule A that we're gonna be working with here. And all of those things that I went in order of how they're listed on the Schedule A. So, this is what it looks like. And these are, by the way, there are, I don't know if you've ever noticed this before, there are sequence numbers up here on each of these forms, so they tell you in what order they go. There is an actual order to attaching them to a tax return. It's not as important anymore because most people aren't filing actual paper returns, and the software is gonna attach it in the order that it's supposed to be, but there is like a sequence up here. So if you didn't have numbers 2 through 6, this would be the second, this would be the first thing you attach to that form 1040. But anyway, okay, medical expenses, medical and dental. Now they say medical and dental, it actually encompasses a lot broader definition than just medical and dental. But this is the area here, only 4 lines. And you can see one part of the medical expenses here, it's asking you to enter the amount from form 1040, line 11. What do you think that is? It's asking you to reference another number that's on the 1040. It's the adjusted gross income. Okay, so the amount of medical expenses that you're allowed to take is dependent upon what your adjusted gross income is. So it's just another one of those areas where adjusted gross income comes into play. And we'll go through that calculation when we get there. State and local taxes, a few lines here for that. It's in section 2. Interest, home mortgage interest. There's a couple of sections here, actually 3 lines. Is it 3? We'll go into the details of that, but you can see I guess there's 1, 2, 3 lines are dedicated to mortgage interest, and then we've got some investment interest down here. So when we get to that section, we'll go through those details of what all of that means as well. Gifts to charity. I think this is the area, there is a separate form that attaches a separate, it's not really a worksheet, it's a form. Form 8283 that you are going to work with in this chapter. And you'll see here it says you must attach 8283 if over $500. So if you have contributions that were made other than by cash or check. So the first one is gifts by cash or check. That's pretty easy. You've got something you actually just monetary donation other than by cash or check. That could be those non-cash, like Goodwill type of donations. It could be investments. Oftentimes individuals will donate investments, or other types of collectibles and that sort of thing. So if it's anything other than by cash or check, if the value of it is over $500, there's a separate form that has to be attached where you add details about it. So, and we will go through that 8283. This line here, carryover from prior year, you're going to see this in a couple of places on the return. Carryovers means that there is a limit to how much you can take in one particular year, but you're allowed to carry over. If you exceeded that limit, you're allowed to carry it over to another year. Okay, so this is one area where there is what we call these carryovers. Casualty and theft losses come next, and again there's a separate form that would be attached if there is a casualty or theft loss. Other itemized deductions, we're going to go through what some of those others might be. There aren't very many others. And then totaled up on line 17, and then this total is what's entered then onto the 1040. Instead of the standard deduction, this is the total that's entered. So just one page, but as you can tell, we've got other forms that may be attached depending upon certain circumstances. As it mentions here, so most itemized deductions are personal living expenses, medical expenses, interest expenses, payments for taxes, and that. Any other personal living expenses generally are not deductible, but if they are deductible, they're going to be found on this particular form. All right. let's go to